I had a request to cover this problem of the relativity of simultaneity, the one with the yoga guy and the rocket ship. And so here's the picture. The figure below shows a rocket traveling from left to right at the instant it is halfway between the two trees, lightning simultaneously in the rocket's frame. So it can only be simultaneous in one of the frames, and the problem will usually tell you that hits both trees. Do the light flashes reach the rocket pilot simultaneously? If not, which reaches her first? And it works out that the light flashes do, in fact, reach her at the same time simultaneously. And so let's try to draw the picture in the frame of the rocket. So here's the rocket, like so, and here's the yoga guy, and then here's the two trees. So here's a tree, and here's a tree. And so what's happening is, in the frame of the rocket, she sees the trees moving with her velocity and the yoga guy moving with that velocity. What happens is event 1, so we'll call event 1 to be this strike over here, and event 2 happen at the same time. They're simultaneous. Now in her frame, she's not moving relative to her, so her velocity is 0. And so we look here and we say, okay, well, there's some distance d between there and there, and some distance d between there and there. And so event 1, basically now there's a photon of light heading this way, velocity the speed of light, and over here there's a photon of light heading this way, velocity the speed of light. So the velocity is the same, the distance is the same, they should reach at the same point. Okay, let's actually just draw the next couple of pictures. So here, the next second, the yoga guy has slid down some period. This tree has slid down some period. They're still moving with the same velocity. And maybe this tree is a little bit closer over here with some velocity. And so what happens is there'll be the light beam here, and now there's a light beam here. So the yoga guy is going to see the left lightning bolt first in this frame. All right, and then and he has not seen the right one. The airplane still hasn't seen either. And if we forward progress even further, the yoga guy has passed by. This tree is about to leave our picture completely. So they're moving the velocity. This tree is maybe somewhere like here. And at this point, the two light flashes hit the airplane at the same time. So the yoga person sees these two flashes hit the rocket ship at the same time. But it's important that, so this is the left and this is the right, that the left one hits the yoga person first. Now let's just look. This was the most common incorrect answer in interpreting this part of it. So in the perspective of the rocket, lightning would appear to be traveling faster on the right and slower on the left. And so that's incorrect. And so that reasoning, because of relativity says the founding principle, one of the founding principles is that the velocity of light has to be the same in all frames. Okay, and so it doesn't matter what's going on. Whenever you have a light, it's always traveling at the speed of light. And so because they're both going the same speed, they're going to hit the rocket at the same time. Now, the other part of this is we ask about the yoga guy. And so the yoga student was sitting on the ground halfway between the trees when this happened. According to the student, were the lightning strikes simultaneous? If not, which tree was hit first? And so if you look at this person's frame, and it turns out that the left flash reaches the student first. So we got that from the other picture. All right, but we can actually figure it out too by looking, or it's instructive to look at his frame as well. So here's the yoga guy, and so in his frame, he's not moving. Either are the two trees. So here's the tree 1, here's the tree 2. So his frame, but what is moving is the rocket ship. So here's the rocket ship, and it's moving with the velocity that it has. And so in his frame, what has to happen, all right, and we'll go through the steps, what has to happen is that event 1 happens first. So here's event 1, and now coming out of here is a little photon of light moving with the speed of light. And so if I progress time a little bit further, so the rocket ship has moved over here, and we'll say that the light flash, the left one from over here, is now just about to hit the yoga guy. Just like we talked about, the left one will hit him first, and so that's consistent. And then at that time, we'll say that now event 2 is happening over here. And so there's a flash over here, v equals c. And so now this one's had time to run. This one hasn't had time to run yet, but he does hit the yoga guy first. And then finally, because event 1 happened first, so now the yoga guy is still here. The flash has passed him by. Now this rocket ship is here. And finally, both flashes, left and right, hit the yoga guy. Or I'm sorry, hit the rocket ship simultaneously. So the key is that in both frames we see that the left flash hits the yoga person first, and we see that the left and the right flashes hit the rocket ship simultaneously. Now what's the key to this? The key to this is that the actual events do not happen at the same time in the frame of the yoga guy. So it was said in the problem that the events were simultaneous in the frame of the rocket ship. So in general, two events that are simultaneous in one frame will not be simultaneous in the other frame. So the events happen at different times in the yoga guy's frame. Okay, and that's why they're able to hit the spaceship at the same time. So the most common incorrect answer for this one was that the pilot is approaching the right tree, thereby making the distance between the two objects smaller. Therefore, it takes a shorter amount of time to see the right lightning bolt. And so this is sort of interpreting this in terms of the frame of the pilot. And so the pilot is approaching the right tree. And so basically what that means is that the event 2 lightning bolt is going to have a higher relative velocity coming towards him. And so if these events were simultaneous in this frame, then it would be different, but they're not. So event 1 must happen first, and event 2 must happen second, and that's how we know the two light beams, or that's the way we can figure out that the two light beams will reach the rocket ship at the same time.